Consumerization of IT is one of the big trends that we're seeing. I think what we expect to see in the next few years is that the consumerization trend will increase, which means in businesses we're going to see more end users bringing in their own devices. In the past, IT departments dictated what types of devices were brought in. But more and more we're seeing that consumerization seems to be an unstoppable trend with all of these really cool consumer devices being created. From an IT perspective, IT organizations are going to try to figure out what's the best way to support some of these devices in a way that they can ensure the security and manageability of those devices.
And how can they ensure security? We know we don't secure the data at home the right way. How will it be with the slates?
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a combination of different technologies. So virtualization allows, to a certain extent, to abstract away some of the data and the applications away from the device. In many cases, those applications are running in the data center. So that's one way I think it'll be done. And additionally, I think the convergence of cloud and consumerization will enable that as well. So the applications are running in the cloud. They're not actually running on those devices, so I think that's another mechanism. But you're right, it is a big challenge. I mean, it's not an easy answer. Even some of those different mechanisms involve some complexities. So I think right now what we see is that IT organizations are still grappling, still struggling with this. And over the next couple of years, I think companies like Microsoft will offer solutions to enable that.
Would you put all your personal data in the cloud, or is it still too unsecure?
It depends on the business. I mean, so I think what we're seeing is that big businesses will probably be moved much more slowly around moving their data, moving their applications to the cloud. Big businesses, they have legacy technology implementations. The shift from that legacy in-house stored applications to the cloud is going to take them a while. Smaller businesses, I think we'll see them moving to the cloud much more quickly. But you're right, there is a process by which organizations need to think about and be very thoughtful about what applications they move to the cloud. Probably their most sensitive applications will be moved to the cloud in the later stages, and some of the less sensitive applications can go there initially.
Will the Slate PC bury the mouse and keyboard?
I think it depends on the use case, right? So for some end users, they may be able to use a Slate without a mouse and a keyboard, but I don't think it will be true for all end users. Probably later on, as you are typing out this article and you're typing your notes, you'll probably want a keyboard. The on-screen soft keyboard, there's some things you can do with it, but as you know, it's probably not the most practical way. So I think for power users, for a large majority of users, you'll still need the keyboard. But I don't think just because you have a keyboard, I don't think that necessarily means you can't have a Slate form factor. We have some very interesting form factors coming out. I brought a couple here that are Slates, but that also have keyboard that you can attach to the device. So when you need a keyboard and a mouse, you can use that, but when you want to be more portable and just use touch experiences as well as pin input, you can do that as well. Hardware, as you know, is constantly evolving, and we're seeing a lot of innovation in hardware. Just to give you a few examples, so there's innovations in chipsets. So a lot of the slates that are coming to market running Windows 7 are being built around a chipset from Intel called the Oak Trail chipset. And that's a chipset that's enabling a much longer battery life than was previously possible. Another innovation we're seeing is solid-state drives, or SSD. And so these solid-state drives are built around flash memories, which means they're much quicker, they boot faster, they wake from sleep instantly. So those are some examples of some hardware innovations that are coming to market that are really ideal for Slate form factors.
How do you spend your free time, with the gadgets or without them?
Well, so, you know, it's an interesting question. So consumerization of IT, which is kind of the topic we're talking about, part of the reason for that is that there's a blending between work life and home life. So unfortunately for me, sometimes my work life bleeds into my home life, so I do have some of these gadgets in my free time. I try not to spend all of my time using those gadgets. I have other interests and other hobbies. So it's a good point. So to answer your question directly, I'd say that a good amount of my time, my free time, is spent using some of these gadgets. I love technology. I love consumer technology as well as enterprise technology, so that is one of my hobbies. But I think it's good to have some other hobbies as well.